Well, I think most of his career has been pretty well documented with the amount of big games and exit Deshaun Watson, who's really a legend around Clemson, going to back-to-back national championships and winning the last one. Entered true freshman, 18-year-old Trevor Lawrence, and for him to come in that early and have the success that he did, so much of what he's done has been before all of our eyes. But I think you got to factor in something, and when I look at him, I always factor in something that I don't know that I've seen in anybody else. And there's a couple guys that are close, but it's just the amount of franchise NFL quarterbacks, so the stuff that those guys go through, the moments and the pressures that he's already been through in the last few years. You know, Brandon, some of you guys on set know that NFL quarterbacks, franchise guys, they go through different things than other players, other positions, other coaches. And Trevor, to step into that role that he did as a true freshman, and then the last 3 years, and I even go back a year before that, and I look at him as when you're the number one recruit of kind of the decade, so to speak, and the target on your back, all the eyes on you 24/7. When you sum it all up, I say that Trevor has 3 or 4 years of franchise NFL quarterback experience before he even gets to the league.
Wow.
And I haven't really even said a word about him as a player yet.
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold. These are guys that you've trained, you had for a couple of months, getting them ready for the draft, preparing them for sitting down with general managers, owners. So you're saying Trevor Lawrence is at the top of that list?
I'm saying Trevor has had more experience of what it takes to play an NFL quarterback. I think he's had 4 years. Compare him to Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I think, had 2 nationally televised games in college, right? So to the things that you got to go through to get you ready to play in the league. I mean, Trevor's 86-4 between high school and college, and he's had all eyes on him for 4 years. So just the stuff that it takes when you're the face of college football, the way that Trevor has been, the way that Sam Darnold was not for 2 years, and Josh Allen never was at any point. And Joe Burrow got hot his senior year. I'm not comparing talent or skill sets. I'm just comparing exposure and experience to what it's going to take for them. And I think that actually Trevor in Jacksonville, the moment and the bigness and all the stuff will probably feel smaller than it feels to be the face of college football the last 2 or 3 years.
So Jordan, first off, what I should have opened with is why my jersey's not behind you, because you told me a couple years ago I was your best teammate, your favorite teammate ever. And all I see is Allen, and I see what? I don't see it. I don't see it.
It's a square.
No, that needs to be my jersey.
I'm missing a piece. That is literally for you.
That needs to be me.
Your idea from your game room in Miami.
All right, here you go. Back to Trevor, okay? Hot topic right now. Trevor, big name. So what's that one thing? Everybody has that one thing. Mahomes has that thing. Aaron Rodgers had that thing. Tom Brady has that thing. If you can pinpoint one thing, what is it?
I think Trevor exudes this feeling that everything is all good. And he did it as a kid at Clemson, as a true freshman, getting thrown into moments. And he's just always, if you talk to his teammates, we talk to coaches, just everything is always under control. And Brandon, you know how important that is in the league. And he's got all the physical tools too. I mean, that's the stuff we all see, but the stuff that not everybody sees, but teammates see, coaches see, and guys like myself who just spend time with him see, is that everything is completely under control at all times. And I think that is a very, very unique asset, particularly when you're going to be asked to play early in this league.
Everyone obviously knows he has all the arm talent in the world, all the arm talent you can have coming out of school, and he showed it at Clemson. Is it fair to say, do you think he's a little underrated as an athlete? He's big, he's strong. I feel like his neck is wider than his ears, which is always a good sign that a guy can take a hit. Like, do you think when going in this process, he has been underrated a little bit as far as what his athleticism is?
You know, there's just so many opinions out there from the media, from fans. The access to opinions is such easy access that I don't really know what people I don't know what the consensus is. So I don't know if he's under or overrated. But I know the way I look at it, because I'm a coach, is what does he currently have right now that translates? And then what are the things that need to be introduced or exposed to that will help him in his process from going from amateur to pro? And so I just think with this guy, again, the experience that he's had of not just the games and not just the wins or not playing at a big school, but just the body of work from high school to through college, the amount of eyeballs on him for this many years. I just think that it's as ready as we've seen in terms of a guy to transition from the amateur quarterback to the professional quarterback.
Jordan, from what you've seen up close, can Sam Darnold be a franchise quarterback?
Yeah, I almost laugh at the question, and no disrespect, I get the question all the time from every angle, but this guy's like 23 years old and was drafted 3 years ago and was probably, I mean, we all thought he was going to be the number 1 pick. And the way I look at it is the only thing that's changed. So I'm much more confident in Sam's ability to be a franchise quarterback than I was during the draft. So I have gotten much more confident in Sam's abilities than 3 years ago when he was going through the draft process. And it's really clearly why. Up until the draft, he had never really dealt with real adversity on the field or off the field. We all have dealt with adversity in our own lives, but I'm just saying as a football player, never had a devastating injury, never had multiple coaching changes, never had a ton of adversity we had as a college guy. Now he has 2.5, 3 years of that under his belt. And if you look 2 years ago, one of the worst offenses in NFL history, how terrible the Jets were, and they ended 6-2. And then last year, seeing ghosts and all the stuff and all the chaos there, and they go almost 3-0 at the end. And so if you look at a guy, and I've been on teams where the quarterback quit, or key players quit, threw in the towel, or kind of over it. So to watch this young man have all the things that he has from a physical skill set and talent and all that, and then be able to weather the storm. And last year they couldn't block, they couldn't get open, they couldn't play defense, and their coach is apologizing for how they handled the kid. I mean, it's unbelievable. So my confidence in Sam Darnold is much higher than it was 3 years ago.
So I don't want to talk about the Jets, but I just want to talk about Sam Darnold's sort of narrative. I feel like it's good to have you on and sort of cheerlead for Sam Darnold because I feel like he's gotten a raw deal. That if he was in this draft and if he had a pro day and he was the highlighted good throws that he had were out there more in the media, people would be talking more about Sam Darnold, but instead it went the other way. Do you think that he needs a fresh start or he would benefit from a fresh start, or it's better to have the continuity of at least going back to the Jets?
Well, I mean, first off, we're talking about pro days. Ironically, I conduct pro days, but just that the way we talk about pro days and highlight it right now. I mean, Sam's throw last year in a game is better than any throw I saw on a pro day this year. Rolling to his left, hitting the receiver, going left to right. So it's ironic.
Oh, Wilds loves that throw. Don't bring that up, Jordan.
What's that?
Don't bring that up. Wow, Kevin loves that play. He keeps showing it. He showed it 10 times this week already.
Here it is. There it is.
Talking about Sam's throw or Zach's throw on a pro day?
Sam's throw. Sam's throw against the Niners.
Yeah. So, I think with Sam, everything still translates for him. I mean, he's still really mobile in the pocket. It's just funny to me. Like, nothing's changed other than he's dealt with some adversity here and is a little bit more seasoned going into it. A fresh start, it depends on what the fresh start is. The grass is not always greener everywhere else. Certainly I can't speak on behalf of what, Sam wants, but Sam I know is a guy who wants to finish what he starts and he wants to complete things. All I can say about Sam is last year during COVID, we got thrown into a weird spot where we didn't know how much longer we were going to train and when they were going to leave and if OTAs were going to happen. And so basically for about 6.5 months, I watched Sam Darnold literally not cut a single corner, not show up 15 minutes late, not leave 10 minutes early for something. He went 6 days a week. I used to train with Carson Palmer and Drew Brees and guys in the offseason, and I just watched Sam Darnold have an offseason basically as, 24/7 as you can be in an offseason. So from a work ethic standpoint, the thing that no one talks about and isn't fun to talk about, he is actually one of the most committed football players I've ever been around in my life.
Okay, Jordan. All right, let's stay right here. That was one throw against the 49ers. I stood up out of my chair when I saw that throw live. Loved it, right? Jets fan, big Jets fan. Okay? You talked about the adversity. All right, he's dealt with that the last 3 years. I do believe, you as a player, you got to be in the right situation to thrive and to be successful. I don't believe he's been in a perfect situation. he's been a terrible situation if we want to be honest.
No,
This is your
in the
baby,
league.
one of your babies. Oh, yeah, right, I agree. So this is one of your babies. I'm assuming that you have him again this offseason. What is the thing that you guys are working on outside of all those things that you already talked about? Where can he get better?
Well, I think across the board, efficiency is the key with all these guys. And so I've spent a lot of time with Sam. And that's one of the things about Sam and all these guys, Josh Allen, is just isolating one thing, and everything is really looked through the lens of efficiency. And so we look at it from a movement standpoint and from a throwing motion standpoint. And now we've got some cool technology out here, and I'm able to measure a lot of things and turn them into 4D and isolate those things. So, Sam is incredibly athletic and has a really strong arm and a really quick release. So it's really about, the NFL is so much about moving short distances quickly. College is about covering a lot of ground. Guys will roll all the way over there and set up. But in the NFL, it's very short distance and subtle movement. And Tom Brady, the way that he's playing right now at his age is because he's mastered that subtle movement efficiently. There's no wasted movement. And so I think with Sam, but with all the guys, that's kind of that key focus right now, or at least for this part of the offseason, April, is working on efficiency.
All right, Jordan, we got to be really quick here. You got to give me a quick answer. And I know you as a teammate, you like to talk a lot. Be quick here, all right? And you've been in the locker room with me. You know I can get real messy. You think you're going to come on the show and I'm not going to get messy? Please, give me a quick answer really quick. What does the Jets do at number 2?
I have no idea what they do, but I have no idea what they do. I know they have a franchise quarterback there right now that part of them has to love, and then there's some really, really talented quarterbacks in this draft.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.